In this video, I just want to talk about anger. And I realize how anger can be so damaging. And I think that sometimes we let the anger get the best of us. And we have to start thinking about anger more logically before it happens. And so what I know that anger brings out the truth. And so for the person who is receiving the wrath or the anger, they are more shocked than they are able to accept what you're saying. So we got to be careful that when we're angry, that we take a time out so we can write it out, we can think it out, we can talk it out on paper before we go in on somebody else because we're angry. A lot of times I figure that when we get angry and we speak the truth, other person can't receive it, but that we have brought up a lot of old stuff that's been festering under the surface that should have been dealt with before now, that we should have talked it out before now, but we didn't. And now that we're angry, we're just saying all these different things. And I believe that it's important that we handle. The Bible says we ought to be slow to anger. And I believe that we ought to handle anger with care, because it's unfair to spew out all these things that you're angry about, old stuff that happened, a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, that the other person doesn't remember, or they remember it a different way than you do. So just think about how anger really affects us, and how we want to make sure that when we're angry, we don't think about ourselves. We don't think about the other person. And I'm always thinking about, when we get angry, we got to start putting ourselves, we got to just take a step back, and we got to put ourselves in the other person's shoes, put ourselves in the other person's position. When we get angry, we are so irrational, immature. We don't think about how it's not just us involved, it's somebody else involved. And that sometimes the things that we say in anger, we can't apologize away. So we got to make sure that we are very mature, and we take time to speak the truth in love. That when we're angry, in most cases, it's not the time to talk. It's just not. We need time to cool off. We need time to think about what we're going to say. We need time to think about why we're really angry. So it is true what they say, hurt people hurt people. And so anger can be very dangerous if we let it go. Like I hear people say they were seeing red, and so it could be very dangerous. So it's important that we put things in proper perspective, and that understand that somebody else's perspective is not necessarily our perspective. And so we just really have to be mature and say, okay, the way this person sees the situation, not the way that I see the same situation, and I'm imperfect, they're imperfect. I'm wrong, they're wrong. So we both accept responsibility. We both accept blame. Anger makes us insane and irrational. We just can't see the logic in just taking a step back, just taking a time out. So anger makes us do and say stupid things. And it's not until we have kind of taking a step back and thinking about what happened and what we need to do to change, what happened in the situation, that we can really kind of process it and figure out what's the next steps, what needs to happen next. But if we get angry and then we automatically go in on somebody, telling them how we feel, what happened, all these different things, calling them names, we didn't accomplish anything. Yeah, we got out what we wanted to say, but we didn't accomplish anything. We probably ruined a relationship. The person whatever we said the person didn't receive it. Maybe they heard it, but they didn't receive it. So they're not open to changing. So we got to make sure that we are calm, that we take time to process why we're angry before we go in on somebody and really, say things that we're going to regret. So anger is a topic that we should handle very delicately, that we should make sure that when we're angry, that we've given ourselves time to process it. We've given the other person time to process it, so we don't show up irrational, unreasonable, immature. We can show up the right way so people can receive what we have to say, and that we can receive what they have to say. And it's okay to agree to disagree, but we got to make sure that we are in the right headspace to talk through what it is that happened, what we're angry about.